know the stories of spirits haunting houses and even people. But in this story, the spirits of young children keep vigilance over an old railway track, acting as guardian angels to keep potential victims out of harm's way.
More often than not, ghost stories are frightening, but even more frightening when the story is true. Let's go back to the south side of San Antonio. It was late one evening in 1984 when Paula Williams was driving home from work, taking her usual route. A young girl standing alone on the side of the road caught her attention.
Are you all right? Do you need a ride?
The girl only nodded a yes and got in the car.
What's your name, honey?
She gave Paula her name and pointed to where she lived.
Cindy Sue.
Cindy Sue was extremely quiet and seemed to stare through Paula. It unnerved her. As they drove, they passed over some railroad tracks. Cindy Sue's eyes met the sign and locked. At her house, Cindy Sue remained in the car. Paula thought she might be having problems at home and suggested that she would go first and talk to her parents. Paula told the woman who answered the door her daughter, Cindy Sue, was waiting in the car.
Hello.
She started yelling and even threatened to call the police if Paula didn't get off her property.
She's in the car right now.
Then she said the strangest thing.
Your child's in the
Just
car.
let Cindy Sue rest in peace.
Paula was taken back by the strange turn of events and walked back to the car, confused. When she got to the car, no one was there. Paula remembered Cindy Sue fastening her seatbelt and locking her door. The door was still locked and the seatbelt still fastened, but Cindy Sue had vanished. It was on her way back when Paula remembered why everything felt so unsettling. It was the street names near the railroad track. All of them the names which belonged to children. Behind this discovery was the tragic tale of innocent children, and even more so, their remaining spirits.
Okay, so Roy, where are we?
We're out on the southern part of San Antonio on Mission Road.
And this is the famous road, right?
This is the famous road where the children were killed in the bus accident back in the 40s.
It was a cold but clear afternoon when a school bus was making its last delivery of school children. About 10 children were still on the bus. The bus had to cross the railroad tracks. There was no warning of the oncoming train.
The bus stalled on the track and the train come along, and before the kids could get off, it hit the school bus and killed all the kids.
This disastrous accident started a legend that motivated many people to come to these tracks.
From any of these places here, you can stop your car, completely stop it, turn the motor off, and leave it in neutral, and it will pick up speed all the way till it gets across the railroad track.
The strange thing about this is that the road doesn't go downhill. It doesn't even run level.
If you look to the railroad track, it appears that the road is elevated.
There's no question. I mean, I can see a hill going up.
Okay, how do these cars get up the hill by themselves?
If people's cars stall or something, these children supposedly pushes the car across the track to safety.
It's come through the safety zone.
And once they're safe of the railroad track, then the car stops.
Skeptics say the explanation may be a magnetic field in the area. But how do they explain what happens next? Fingerprints on the back of the cars, as if some imaginary hands pushed it forward. Putting powder on the back of the car helps to see the fingerprints clearly.
You say on the bumper and on the trunk. I think with the wind, we'll do it right here and see what happens. I'm determined to check it out for myself. I watched a couple of cars do it, but just to see if it can really happen. This is about where they say they stop. Turn the car off, put it in neutral. Take my foot off the brake. and just sit here and start going. And it's beginning to pick up speed. This is amazing. No hands, no feet. This car is just going on its own across the railroad track. I'm gonna have to brake because now we're gonna go downhill.
There was no doubt in my mind the car was pushed over those tracks. Was it gravity, or was it the legendary little spirits? There was only one way to find out, and there it was. I could feel my heart beating.
Possible finger marks right here. And a couple of prints right here. Well, that really is pretty amazing. Although we weren't able to find anyone to verify every detail of this story, one fact does remain. There hasn't been a single train accident on this set of tracks since the children's tragedy in the 1940s. Somehow, every stalled car has managed to cross the tracks, reaching the other side in safety. There was one thing I still wanted to find out. What did Paula see that night on her way back home? This is the neighborhood supposedly where they have street signs with the children's names from the accident. Bobby, Alan, Nancy, Carol. It was here in the streets close to the railroad tracks where we found the answer to Paula's mysterious young rider who never reached her house that fateful afternoon. Cindy Sue.